Hey guys, it's Pamela Sue. Thanks so much for coming back to my channel. It is May 17th, 2017. It is about 2 o'clock in the morning, Pacific time, 5 in the morning on the East Coast. And I just wanted to do a very quick show, get some stuff off my chest basically and share it with you. And the regular show will be on tomorrow night about 7 o'clock Pacific, 9 Central Mountain, and 10 Eastern. So very quickly, I think maybe you guys have heard about the recent news of the Post saying that President Trump has revealed highly classified documents to the Russian minister, Sergei Lavrov, and the ambassador. And you know, it's funny because I've watched this hysterical thing go on. Oh, as a side note, thank you so much for all the kind words and the worry about me. I was so sick last night and had then like hives as a result of taking a bunch of medicine because I was so sick, and then totally sick and knocked out, whatever. So I'm so sorry. I did not mean to worry you guys, but I so appreciate the kind words and the worry. It's so sweet. Oh my God, so sweet. Thank you. Okay, so here's the deal. So I haven't heard this brought up anywhere, and I didn't watch news all day, but I did a pretty good roundup. And as you see, this doesn't say Trump may have. It says Trump revealed highly classified information to Russian foreign minister and ambassador. And look at this. Here we go. Here is Reuters. Trump revealed intelligence secrets to Russians in Oval Office. And they are citing individuals, of course, unnamed sources. Now, I think that I'm not the only person to acknowledge that the press has lost its trust and good-natured, I want to say their cushion to be able to quote sources without names. And I don't know if you've noticed this, but I certainly have noticed a tremendous change. We never see ever sources. There are no sources ever. Nobody ever stands up and says anything. And I don't think that's because they're afraid of repercussions. I think it's because they're lying. And that's really the point of this video. When leaks are lies, they're legal problems. And if they're not legal problems, they better hurry up and get to be legal problems, because they should be, and they should have been a long time ago. But so we're just going to go over some real basic facts because they're lying. And I'm going to tell you my version of what I think happened. And this is an opinion. I'm generally not wrong, but this is an opinion. I have not sourced it out. I will. But it's just an idea of what could have happened. Now, what they have been publicizing all day is that the press corps was not invited in to the Oval Office where President Trump entertained Sergei Lavrov and the Russian ambassador. Now, Trump knows that he doesn't have any sordid ties with the Russians. He's not worried about it. He's that kind of a person. He doesn't have anything to worry about. He's very cavalier. He's kind of an ass. I'm not saying he's not. He's very loose with his words. He reminds me of myself. That's why I'm not in office anywhere. But the point is, it doesn't matter if people like him or not. And this is why. He's the president. And at a certain point, hysteria by the press is a danger to this country. And I think we're long past that time. I think that we are deep into insurrection, treason, and such. And let me just give you the definitions. I found this, and I can give you the legal definitions besides these other ones from Colombia, which I did on another show. So treason. Treason, this is the legal definition. Whoever owing allegiance to the United States levies war against them or adheres to their enemies, giving them aid and comfort within the United States or elsewhere, is guilty of treason and shall suffer death or shall be imprisoned not less than 5 years and fined under this title not less than $10,000 and shall be incapable of holding any office under the United States. Rebellion or insurrection. Whoever incites, sets on foot, assists, engages in rebellion or insurrection against the authority of the United States or the laws thereof, or gives aid or comfort thereto, shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 10 years, or both, and shall be incapable of holding any office under the United States. Sedition, conspiracy. If two or more persons in any state or territory or in any place subject to the jurisdiction of the United States conspire to overthrow, put down, or to destroy by force of government of the United States, or to levy war against them, or to oppose by force the authority thereof, that's the President of the United States, or by force to prevent, hinder, or delay the execution of any law of the United States, or by force to seize, take or possess any property of the United States contrary to the authority thereof, they shall each be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 20 years or both. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up, and if you've heard this before from me, I'm sorry, but I think this cannot be overstated. What we're watching in our news cycle is 100% what I just read. I think that would be, it would all be under, all of it would be under seditious conspiracy or rebellion, insurrection. Okay, treason. I think, levying war. Although treason, I think right here we have treason on this dealie, because on here, this is literally waging a war. Now, this is Refuse Fascism. This site is partially funded by George Soros. I'll show you an article about it. But this site calls to wage war against our administration, our president, our vice president. And it says it hundreds, if not thousands of times on this website. This website is owned in part by George Soros and in part mostly by Bill Ayers, Weather Underground, who is a terrorist who bombed the Pentagon and many, many, many other crimes. I'm not going to get into his crimes. The point is in the name of, quote, fascism, drive out the Trump-Pence regime. And I'm not going to read this all to you. I will leave links below. But to give you an indication, I'm going to read you one little part of this so you'll understand how crazy it is. Because, I mean, there's one thing that it says in here that just makes me crazy. Besides the fact that they call him a Nazi. Nazi's like the big thing everywhere, when it doesn't even exist in this. Okay, so hold on. Let me see. Where's the Christian thing that's so crazy? I've lost it. That's great. Oh, here it is. Okay, I'm going to read this one to you. In the first weeks of the Trump-Pence regime, of course, regime means dictator. It does not mean administration. So it's used as it's a manipulative term that they're using over and over and over here to paint our president as the scum of the earth. Now, my disclaimer, I don't care necessarily about, I'm not like a Trump supporter, woo-hoo-hoo. What I am is a supporter of this country. This is our country. And I believe that we need to be loyal to our country and our people. And I think everybody should be loyal to everybody's country. And I think we'd all be a lot happier. Okay, so the first 2 weeks of the Trump-Pence regime, they have begun subverting the separation of powers, the separation of church and state, called for a nuclear arms race, demonized the press, dismissed the very concept of truth, substituting their own fabricated alternative facts. It can already be said of the Trump-Pence regime that they came for the Muslims, then the Mexicans, then the refugees, then the women, then the blacks, then the Latino people, then the LGBTQ persons. They're missing LGBTQAA now. The environment, and anyone who doesn't conform or submit to their vision and plan for a nation cohered around white supremacy and political form of Christian fundamentalism. And that should rightly be called Christian fascism. Now, the reason why I'm picking on this specifically is because it's such a disgusting bent on language. This is such a manipulative writing. It's just horrible. But the entire website. So these people are committing treason, insurrection, and conspiracy. What was the other one? Conspiracy, rebellion. Is that right? Seditious conspiracy, insurrection, and treason for them, because they're creating a war. Okay, but so this is what isn't discussed, and I want to just put this out there. The press was not invited into the Oval Office. The Russian press was, and that's because the Russian press is controllable. Our press is, they're not free, they're insane, and there's a big difference. And the thing is that when a press is this volatile and hateful and political, they're just liabilities. And in point of fact, not in an emotional way, they are a danger to us at this point. They need to be stomped out. We need a new press. They need to be arrested. They need to go away. They're not dealing with us as people. They're not doing their jobs. I understand that if President Trump does anything like this, he will be perceived as an evil dictator. And that's part of the goal. They're chiding him. It's a setup. Okay, guys, it's a setup. He cannot win. But that aside, that doesn't take away what they're doing. Get off the table. So follow me on here. What I see happening is, let me just come out of here for a second. What I see happening here is the Washington Post that came forward with this story that he supposedly, not maybe did something, leaked. And they're not saying he may have leaked. They're not saying we're worried that he leaked. Could have leaked. That's not what they're saying. They're saying fact. Trump leaked. Trump needs to be removed. And what they're doing is they're trying to drive our president out, which is illegal on many, many levels. It's also really dangerous to our country, to the fundamental respect that we need from the rest of the world, because that respect keeps us safe. So follow me on this one, because I think because the press wasn't invited, somebody decided to go ahead and lie and punish the president for not letting the press corps in. Now, you've got to ask yourself, how do they know this happened? Well, they don't. There's nobody, there's no name, there's no person that's saying that this happened. So it's just more gossip, which is an actual lie, which is insurrection and sedition. Now, the problem with this is that I think this is their way of extorting the White House. And I think a lot of what they do is extortion. If you won't let us in, this is what we will do to you, is extortion. I mean, I think it's kind of blackmail, but I think if they don't say it, it's just extortion. I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, let me know. Absolutely. So my point is, the LA Times then printed, hold on, let me get you back in here. The LA Times printed this. The LA Times. So this is what the LA Times printed. Comey memo says Trump asked to end the Flynn investigation, except for one thing. In this entire article, there's no picture of any memo. And if the New York Times was being reputable, they would show the memo. But they've never seen the memo. So how do they know it exists? Well, sources say, quote, sources, unnamed sources. Now, let's just to give you an idea of what we're talking about. Washington. President Trump asked the FBI director, James B. Comey, to shut down the federal investigation into Mr. Trump's former national security advisor, Michael T. Flynn, in an Oval Office meeting in February, according to a memo Mr. Comey wrote shortly after the meeting. I hope you can let this go. Quote, I hope you can let this go, end quote. The president told M. Comey, according to the memo. What memo? What memo? There's no memo shown here. They don't have a memo. So how do they know this happened? Well, they don't. Now, do you see the word may, could, possibly? Because I don't. Here, let me make this bigger. I don't see that. I see President Trump, fact, they're stating a fact. President Trump asked to shut down the investigation. This is illegal. It's slander, if nothing else. But here's the problem with all this. This slander hurts us. It hurts our credibility. It affects everything we do, everything in our country, everything from how much money comes in, how much respect we're given, how much leeway we're given, how much we're not attacked, everything. Because right now we're a laughingstock. The document of Mr. Trump's request is the clearest evidence that the president has tried to directly influence the Justice Department and FBI investigation into leaks between Mr. Trump's associate and Russia. Late Tuesday, Representative Jason Chaffetz, the Republican chairman of the House Oversight Committee, demanded that the FBI turn over all memoranda notes, summaries, and recordings of discussions between Mr. Trump and Mr. Comey. Such documents, Mr. Chaffetz wrote, would raise questions as to whether the president attempted to influence or impede the FBI. Now, Mr. Comey wrote the memo detailing his conversation with the president immediately after the meeting, which took place the day after Mr. Flynn resigned. Wait, what? Mr. Comey wrote the memo detailing his conversation with the president immediately after his meeting, which took place the day after Mr. Flynn resigned, according to the two people who read the memo. It was part of the paper trail Mr. Comey created, documenting what he perceived as the president's improper efforts to influence a continuing investigation. An FBI agent's contemporaneous notes are widely held up in court as credible evidence of conversations. Now, here's the problem with all this. That sounds great. It does. It sounds great. Where's the note? Well, we still don't have a note. So my problem here is to me, this is all extortion. And it's also conspiracy. It's conspiracy, seditious conspiracy. I don't know. To be honest, really pulling apart these laws specifically is a little hard for me. I'm not a lawyer. But I think it's high time we get some lawyers on this, because I am certain, they have lied so many times. All of these, quote, leaks have been lies. They're making it up. And they're making it up because they're part of these groups that want to destroy the president. And there are so many of them, and it's a tremendous movement. And they say this, they are resisting. Resist, resist, resist. That's what they say. Fight him every step of the way. And I'm quoting, fight him every step of the way. Whatever he wants, go against him. Make it as hard as you can. We want him out. That is not free speech. That's treason. That is war. That is truly civil war, but it's war against the government. It's not war against us. It's war against the government. That's treason. And with treason comes death. As far as I'm concerned, it is long past due that we treat these leaks for what they are. And what they are is treasonous lies to destroy the fabric of this country. Can't blame that on Russia. You can't blame that on communism. You can't blame that on anybody. And all the people that have spoken under oath say that the president has never tried to impede this investigation. And I can't imagine why he would. He's got nothing to hide. It just takes common sense. If I did it, it would be treason. So I really want to get this heard. I want people to start paying attention to the way this is discussed, the value that it has, because it's like we're letting it go while the drama just keeps going higher and higher. And now it's at this pitch of insanity, hysteria, and it needs to be squashed. It needs to be shut down. We need to get a functional government. We need our people to be able to calm down. We need things to go back to normal, and we need to get good decisions that are backed up by the people of the United States of America in order, in line. We need a functional Congress. We need to get all of the Schiffs and the Ryan, what's his name? Ryan, whatever, Paul Ryan. We need to get those people. I mean, they're all working against, Lindsey Graham, working against the benefits of this country. It's on both sides of the aisle. We just need to clear them out. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Let me know if you disagree with me. I'm open to that. I want to know what you think we can do. If you have any ideas, out of the box thinking. I mean, let's talk about what's possible instead of the garbage, just the garbage. It is, I don't know why we're so bogged down. Tiger says hi, but we are, and we don't need to be. All right, you guys, have a wonderful night. Thanks again for all the love and support, and I will see you guys tomorrow about 7 p.m. Have a wonderful night. I love you guys.